fire. Don't ever leave it all behind. Can you feel the attraction? Feel the attraction. Can you feel it between us? There's energies inside us like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Feel the love.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
I fell and lost to the war, shot me dead. I was lost and sad to the voices in my head. I gotta get up again. I gotta get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I gotta get up. I gotta get up. I gotta get up again. I gotta get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I gotta get up. I gotta get up. I gotta get up again. Look into my eyes. My heart beats like a drum. You listen to my lies. Love is far to come. Your love is far. Running at the speed of light, kissing every city lights. Calls me in this morning time, but it just goes on. Running at the speed of light, kissing every city lights. Calls me in this morning time, but it just goes on. Gotta get up again. I gotta get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I gotta get up. I gotta get up. I gotta get Gonna get up
I'm crawling around, searching for higher ground. Can't see in front of me, my enemies have tried every possibility. Ability to know if I can bleed. If that's what you wanted, you won't get it tonight. 'Cause I can fly, I can fly, I can fly, yeah. I can fly.
What is going on, traders? How are we doing? Happy Saturday. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. How we doing today? Did you guys have a good Friday night? What do we got? 40-ish people in here? How we doing? One sec. Just going to refresh this little thing off to the side here. Who do we got today? We got Jay Licious coming in early at 12:49. Colonel's in the chat today. Sean, what's going on, Sean? How are you today? Welcome back. Grambler. Uzi with the prime sub. 2 months, bro. Let's go. That's dope. Welcome back, sir. Really is God. ESQ Trading in the house, obviously. Oh, I got to give her a VIP badge. Hang on a second. How are we today, chat? How is everybody? Yo, Trader Thiz in the house. What's up, sir? How you doing today? Katie Trading in the house. Yo, Katie, what's going on, man? You're coming on tomorrow, right? I got to put out a promo for that today. Sup, baby boy? Really is God. We got Thomas, Grambler. All right, guys. Oh, a time conductor up there, too. Dr. Quinzel. So I'm just seeing these names pop in here. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for participating in the chat. Yeah, we're going to have ESQ Trading on. All right, her Twitter is up on the screen. Incredible trader. Okay, she made her first $1 million. Absolutely insane. You've been prepping for tomorrow? Awesome, dude. I can't wait for that. I'm going to put out a promo right after this for that. Alrighty. Yo, what's going on, Stock 6? How you doing today? All right, traders, without any further ado, I'm going to get ESQ up on call. All right, the moment we've been waiting for. Thank you for the follow, Bramley. Alrighty. So let me pause the music here and give her a call. All right, hopefully you guys had a good week. Post a 1 in chat if you guys are green on the week. Alrighty. So let me pause. Hey, ESQ. Give her a call. Perfect. I was like, I can hear myself.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hi, guys.
We're good. What's up, chat? This is ESQ Trading. Welcome, ESQ. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you guys?
Awesome. Real Ones in here? I hope so. Thiz, do you want to share this in the Real Ones Discord? Do you want me to call you ESQ, by the way? I didn't even ask. Is that good?
People say ESQ-esque, either
Esque?
or.
Let's do esque.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Okay.
Sweet. Already did and shared on Twitter. Awesome. Thank you, Thiz. Appreciate it. Oh, and you hosted us.
Oh my
sweet.
God, this is doing the most.
Dang. Thanks for the host. Okay. Thiz Goat. Yes, sir. All right, ESQ. I just want to thank you for coming on today. I truly appreciate it. Once again, chat, her Twitter is up on screen. Let's kind of dive into things here. Thanks for coming on to the show, Trader Spotlight. Let's dive in a little bit into your background and kind of, what interested you in trading in the first place, and what was your style like when you started trading, and how did you develop that into what it is today?
Yeah, so that's a big question.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
when I first started, it was basically I was just like saving money in my TD account. And I heard about like trading stocks and stuff, like, everyone hears about that, but no one like knows exactly what that means. I had no idea like what everything was about in the stock market. Like I didn't understand, like I understood zero. So I hop onto like StockTwits, which is where, the best place to learn.
Yep.
So I kind of got on there, and then there was this one stock that I found and whatnot, and it was like the stock that I thought was going to make me rich, which at the time, rich to me meant like $10,000. I thought, you know what, I'm going to make $10,000 off of this thing, and I'm going to like be set forever, I was
Right,
like,
right, yeah. And I'm done.
yeah. And then I was on StockTwits. That's really what kind of like made me, I guess, addicted, or got me addicted to the market.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's kind of how it started. Got on there, um, did a bunch of things that I shouldn't have done. That first stock that I'm telling you about, Eros, it actually worked out. My whole thesis and everything that I thought worked out, except for like it was one of those things where I didn't understand this then and I understand it now. It's like it never actually reaches like the quote PT that everyone thinks it's gonna
Right.
reach.
Right.
It's always more so like taking a chunk of the ride versus riding the whole thing. I didn't understand that concept before. Because I played it like from low. This is an old ticker. They changed the name now too. I think like ESGC, I think is the new name,
Okay.
or EGSC. Um, which it's funny. It recently ran on the news that I thought it was gonna get like 2 years ago. So
Right.
but yeah, so I played it from like low ones all the way to like threes. Didn't take any profits, got hit with an offering, was like Googling what an offering was.
Yep. You
You
thought it
know,
was a good
the
thing, probably.
whole
That's what I thought at the time.
what?
I was
Sorry, I
like,
didn't hear.
when I first started trading, I was like, oh, an offering. That's great news.
Yeah, it's not even you. My brother, like my 16-year-old brother, I had got him like a at the time, because when you're first new to trading, right? I at least this was the case for me. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna tell everyone about this magical place you can make all this money, and like, it's so cool. And I like playing games, or like like video games and stuff, or even like arcade games, like things like that. So to me, I felt like, oh, it just felt like kind of like this cool thing to do. And I was like having people open up brokerage accounts and stuff, and one of them was like my little brother, and he was playing off like my mom's account, like with like $100. And he did the same thing. This one ticker had like a huge offering, like $100 million, and he thought it was a good thing and just bought the stock with his $100. Um,
I'll take what they're
but
offering.
yeah, well, at the height of like the January February craze, there was this like one time where I was on TikTok,
Right.
and there was like a TikTok about SNDL having an offering. And it was like, and they just announced a $500 million offering. Like, like it was this great thing or something like. And it ran. I guess no one knew.
That's so
Offerings were running
funny.
for a while, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
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 when
anyways,
yeah, go ahead.
back to your story, back to the story. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. I thought, like, I didn't know what an offering was. I was like, what are warrants? Like, because they did it with like convertible notes. And I was like, what are warrants? What is this? And I was reading SEC filings and whatnot. And so that kind of ended. I ended overall green, I think, on that trade. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I can do this.
Right.
Um and so I kind of just did that. Like, I would just find random things that people were talking about, and I was just kind of, I think, following hype. But sometimes I would find things like, and I'd be like, oh, it has this good thing about it coming up, and I would take the trade. And I kind of did that back and forth with a bunch of different things, not really understanding anything about charts at this time,
Right.
um, other than like MACD, right? Which seemed like at the time like a cheat code. I was like, oh, it just turns green and you buy. And then,
Right.
and it's not like that at all. Um, and and yeah, so I did that for a while until it kind of caught up with me. So I was waking up at like 1 a.m. because I'm on West Coast time for pre-market for Webull. And I was like waking up at 4 a.m. for like actual, open. And my mind was just so fixated on trading. And leading up to COVID, there was this ticker called Codex. And so I thought, like, you know what, let me trade Codex back and forth. And I did that. And I really thought like this was going to be the testing company, like this was going to be the tests that everyone was going to care about.
Right.
And I kept like holding out for like big news on it and thinking it was gonna go. I had it from like low twos, so I thought it was gonna like go crazy. Um, and yeah, and so basically I kept trading it, and then um what happened was is I bought like some type of news that everyone was selling. I was down on the stock and I got super scared because it was like I think like $600 or something, and I was so scared because I was like, oh my god, all my money is gone. Let me let me just exit this. I exit it, and like a couple of days later, it goes parabolic. Like I think
Right.
that same week, it went from like um that low 2-3 range to like 18 or I think 12 maybe. I think 12 or 13. I
Wow.
think that week it went. And then like a couple weeks later, it obviously went like super crazy. I think all the way up to 60s when the pandemic
Whew.
stuff really started happening.
Right.
And so I felt so defeated because I was like, you obviously don't know what you're doing if you messed up a trade like this that was so easy. You know, like it felt
Mm-hmm.
like, why don't you know what you're doing? Um, and I kind of was like, okay, I can't trade anymore because at this point, like my job was picking up like crazy because of the pandemic.
Right.
Um, and then on top of it, like I was super stressed out every single day, like watching these like quote swing positions, right? Like that I had that weren't even like I don't even know what I was swing. I don't even know what I was doing, you know?
Right.
And I was watching every single day, and then the whole waking up early, being at like that kind of addiction part of it, I had to cut it off. And so I did. So I cut it off for a while. Um, and then stepping away gave me a lot of perspective, I think. And then I came back to it. And when I came back to it, it was like I was not going to repeat the same mistakes, you
Right.
know, and I kind of understood that like I was drinking the Kool-Aid, you know,
Okay.
versus just like watching it being made and like maybe making my own, you know, kind of a thing.
Right.
Um, so yeah, that's kind of how it all started.
Okay. Very cool. What was the moment for you you realized like the potential of the stock market and like, okay, this could be a potential thing that I do like full time?
Um, so I when did I realize the potential? I think I kind of always knew the potential was there since I saw what was happening in small cap. I wasn't like I wasn't like delusional about it in the sense that I didn't like I know a lot of people feel this need to like think about like the cars and like $1 million like big days. I wasn't thinking in that term in those terms. I was thinking more along the lines of like, okay, I'm gonna make like a couple $100 a day. So I knew that kind
Right.
of potential like existed.
Okay.
I think I didn't realize like the actual potential in terms of like life and like, you know, generation changing money maybe until probably I want to say like June or July, like when I was actually trading with a plan.
Gotcha.
And I was like, okay, you know what? Like I was trading with a plan. Everything was consistent. I still had moments at that time because I had started preparing for like taxes, like what I was gonna do, and I was trying to calculate like, okay, how much am I gonna make every single day? Like, what's realistic? What do I need to prepare for? And I still like undercut myself because I still thought like, okay, you know, these $2,000 days are, you know, crazy. You're not gonna do that like forever. You're
Right.
probably gonna go back down to like buck 500 or something, you know.
Right.
Um, but probably like June or July, like I was like, you know what? I was like, I think like there's a like this is gonna be crazy. January and February though was like, oh my God, realization. Like I was like, holy crap. But obviously a part of that was the market was crazy during that time. So I knew a little bit in this, I had a little bit awareness to be like, okay, this is not real in terms of how long this is gonna last, that type of hype. Um, and I knew that that was like a special circumstance. But yeah, I would say like June, July was like my first like, okay, like I think this is like something I could do long term. Um and it could change things up. But then January, February, seeing how much money you could possibly make with size was like very like mind
Just crazy,
opening.
right?
Yeah, it was crazy. 1000% crazy. I think every single day I traded like that. Um the way that I traded in January and February, I traded like that on Wednesday. And I kid you not, like I like I normally stay up every night until like 12, 1 a.m. I was asleep by like 9 o'clock. It was so mentally draining though to trade that way.
Right, right.
It was tough. But yeah.
No, that's cool. Let's talk a little bit about consistency because that's a critical part of everyone's trading plan and just the development of trading plans in general. How long did it take you to start being consistent and to go, okay, I think I'm finally developing my plan?
So my plan has been kind of evolving. I want to say the plan evolved from that. So when I came back to trading in June, um it was also a function of I left my job, so I was able to like devote time to it, not really thinking it was going to turn into a full-time thing. I wasn't looking for another full-time job. I it just happened to become that because I just happened to be doing it every day.
Of course.
Um so I want to say that in June and July, I definitely had a type of plan that worked for that type of market, mainly revolved around news and sympathy plays. Um, i- yeah, news and sympathy plays is what it mainly was revolved around. And then I want to say it took maybe until like January, February to fully develop it. So, and I think it's still like ongoing, like it's still being developed. Um, like one of the newer things that I started trading and trade more often now are halts. Um, that's probably been in the last like 4 months. So I think it still keeps getting developed over time. Um, like I'm not one of those. I know some people have rules and they have like they're very rigid in their rules in terms of like those are their rules. I have those too. Those are like the ones that are posted on the top of the screen that you're sharing.
Hmm.
Um, but I'll add new things into those or change things that no longer apply either because I improved as a trader and that's something that doesn't affect me anymore or or because something new popped up that, deserves to be added on.
Okay.
It's
And
like evolving, but
yeah, of course. The market's always changing. Every month is different, and there's just you just got to roll with it, right? Uh, did,
yeah.
when you were trading with a smaller account, did you have like a daily goal you were going for, or was it just let's end the day green sort of thing?
It was just let's end the day green.
Of
I had
course.
no yeah, I came because I wasn't at that point, I wasn't really like trying to I know it sounds kind of like I don't want to use the word stupid.
Hmm.
What's a better word? Or dumb, but stupid slash dumb. I
Silly.
wasn't really um I wasn't really like, oh, let me make this certain I wasn't even thinking about making money. I was thinking about like just trading. It wasn't for me at that time, I wasn't pressured to make money by the stock market. Um I didn't have a like I didn't have like a daily goal in that way because I just didn't. I just traded the setups. So like if a sympathy plate came up, which were those were big at that time, there was like specific types of news at that time that really ran. Like all these companies had filed for bankruptcy, and anytime they would get like first day motions, their stocks would just like rally, you
Right.
know. Or like Hertz kept having like these anytime they would get funding, their stock would just rally. Um, or the COVID headlines, the EV headlines, those type of things. Those were just happening every single day. So that's kind of what I was trading. So I was just like, okay, if I can make like a couple of $100 on one ticker and a couple $100 on another ticker and $50 here and oh yeah, I wasn't greedy about the money that I was making. So if it
Gotcha.
was like $40 and that was $40. I was like, okay, thank you, $40 and
Mm-hmm.
bye.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Get out.
Yeah, it was totally cool with me because it was still $40 like compared
Oh,
to
of
0.
course. And
Yeah.
so let's dive into that a little bit. We do have a question in chat about your halt strategy, so I do want to talk about as well. But let's talk a bit about, especially for newer traders, this is a struggle. How did you get over that FOMO and that greed of like holding too long? Like, I'm up 95%. I want 100%. That sort of mindset. How'd you get over that?
Well, losing money helps you
Right.
get over it.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
It's just the experience of losing money. So um I don't I don't come from money in that way. So like when I was growing up, we didn't really have a lot of money. So to me, like the fact that I lost $600 was in that was, I think, at that time my biggest loss, like as a beginner.
Right.
Um I was like, you're so dumb for losing $600. I felt so stupid for losing $600 because $600 to me is like my dad going to work like for a few days, like not even like more than his week, right? Because,
Wow. Yeah.
he worked like a very hard job his whole life, and still does. So, like, to me, I'm like, you're so dumb. Like, $600 was like the difference between like my parents making or not making a house payment. So, um, experiencing that for me was enough for me to know. I know some people are out here like, and I don't mean to discourage anyone that's doing this, but losing thousands of dollars. Um, and I do now because of the size, like because of the size I take, and with the like perspective and slash experience I have. But no, in the beginning, like that type of money is like money that makes like a difference for people's like day to day, like, so to
Of
me when I
course.
lost that much money, I was like, I can't lose that much money. That's like, what am I doing, like losing that much money? So
Right.
that was kind of one of those things where I was like, I can't do that again. So
100%.
basically losing money made me stop losing money.
Yeah, and it happens. Were you ever in a situation where you blew up your account, or you did not quite get there because you were so tight on your losses?
No, I never blew up because
Gotcha.
that was my the $600
That
was my blow up.
was. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've talked about this before. I think sometimes it's like it's super easy to see, the opposite is true too, because you see gains and you're inspired by gains, but sometimes I feel like there's this um there's like this thing about like taking losses and market tuition, and everyone blows up. I mean, that's true, and I think that there's tons of people that have blown up and then have become successful. But for me personally, I never thought you needed to blow up to learn.
Right.
Like just you can learn, the lessons are all there. Obviously the sting is harder, right? The sting of like blowing up is just so much harder, and maybe that like shakes some people, but I'm like a natural rule follower, so
Yep.
I didn't need like um I didn't need like a like that $600 was good enough for me to know, like, don't do that again to yourself.
Right. Why should you have to lose all your money and then go, oh, maybe this is an issue? I hear you.
Yeah, no, I didn't. My account size at that time, for perspective, was I had been saving money into it. I don't think I was profitable on the account. I think my account was like maybe $6,000-7,000 at that time.
Right.
So like, $600 was like, holy crap, like what are you doing out here? Like you're just, and I'm sorry to keep using this word, but I was like harsh on myself. I was like, you can't do that. Like that's not, you shouldn't do that, Um, especially if you don't know what you're doing and you're losing money. It's like, come on, just learn first and then lose the money. And then you can feel better about the money you lost a little bit, because at least you're coming from a place of knowing. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So let's move into your trading plan a little bit. You have this amazing post pinned on your account here, your Twitter account. Is there anything you want to cover on here, or you think that's important for anyone reading this? What stands out on here?
So a lot of it is what we just spoke about.
Yeah, no,
actually.
that's fine. If you just want to
So,
cover quickly, that's fine.
Yeah, no. And so I have like a section, I probably should redo this at some point because the small cap rules are also the general rules that I have. So there's like general rules mixed in with small cap, and then I'll just walk everyone through it. And then it's like what I have on my chart, the setups that I like, how I use social media, large cap, and then swings. So okay, so I'll just kind of run through it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess, and then
sure.
maybe okay. So for mentality wise, for me coming to the market, I know I don't know everything. I've only been trading for like a little bit over like almost a year and a half full time. 2 years like from the time I opened my account. That to me doesn't feel like enough time to even know like anything because it's just one market cycle. And it's probably only, it's not even a full market cycle if you take into the fact that COVID existed last time. I don't know how this fall and winter time is going to play out. So in last fall, winter time was like this euphoria that a lot of people that have been trading for a while refer to as like this black swan event.
Right.
So who knows, like who knows how this cycle is going to play out. So I'm fully aware that I don't know a lot of things, and I'm fully open to learning from whoever's out there teaching it. So that's first and foremost, like no ego in that because yeah, there's no reason to have it. You want to get better, so why not?
Of
Like
course.
why limit yourself by yourself?
Totally.
So yeah, that's first off. And then for my rules for small cap and / my general rules, most of them revolve around taking your profits before they turn into losses. So I know like tons of people, myself included, have had moments where you're like up and you're green and you just want a little more green. And then next thing you know, like there's a knife or, your gains are all gone because you stayed in a trade or because you believe like something's going to like $20 when it's already made like a $5 move to maybe 15. And you're like, you know what, I'm going to hold out for 20. Those trades are there and like there's ways to read them. But I think as a beginner, unless you know specifically how to read those trades and have had so much experience seeing those type of trades, for me, I don't do that because I just don't have enough experience seeing those type of trades play out. So I rather take like the $1 move, have a little FOMO over the $2, $3, $4 move that it makes. I mean, I'm talking in dollars. Most of the times I'm trading small cap, so this is like cents. But that's just my personal approach on that.
Gotcha.
So yeah, just take your profits, like even if it's scaling out, that's like my main rule. Knowing like what you're gonna do when you take a trade. So for example, like if you're gonna take a scalp trade, like don't let it turn into a day trade. Like don't let the day trade turn into like an overnight. Don't let the overnight turn into like a long-term investment kind of a thing. Whatever your plan is when you're going in, just follow that plan. That sometimes changes and shifts. Even I'm like, obviously these rules are like my ideal, right? Sometimes I'll like make a scalp turn into a day trade, but that's really if like the market is telling you that, right? But most of the time, if you thought about only scalping, it should only be a scalp,
Right.
or day trade, right? It shouldn't become a swing.
Stick to the plan, right?
What else is on here I think is good to cover? What do I think is like the best one? Oh, this is another one that I see that I think like I fall victim to it too. So it's not like that I feel like I fall victim to it too. That's why I have it up here.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't understand this concept before. So basically on a chart, that has an uptrend, eventually it's going to pull back. It's never going to keep going. So I think that when you're like new, you just keep thinking like it's going to go up, 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 but then it doesn't. Everything needs a healthy pullback. So my way of trading that is basically like I'll trade some of the upside. I don't short small cap because my platform really doesn't allow it to. I use TOS or I have TD and they just don't let you. But wait for the downside move and then get it back in for the upside. You don't have to ride the whole thing, especially if you're able to do that with PDT or if you're able to do that with your day trades. You don't need to ride the whole thing up. You can like secure your profit, let the pullback happen, then come back in for another ride up, versus like
Right.
experiencing that whole roller coaster because you think that it's gonna like you're gonna miss out on something if you don't get out, kind of a thing. So
Yeah,
I mean,
100%. I think that's great.
I don't want to keep talking like too much because I
No.
feel like it can keep going.
You're good. If there's anything else you think that sticks out here that you want to cover, that'd be great to go over. Or if you,
For sizing, if your size is scaring you, you probably shouldn't have that much size. If you're in a trade, and again, just goes back to taking profits, but if you're in a trade and you get kind of like, oh, should I take profits here? The answer is always yes, just do it.
yeah,
Like you'll
100%.
never, at the end of the day, you're not going to regret taking money. You're going to regret like not like losing money. That's what the regret is going to come from.
Yeah.
You're never going to be like, you might be like, oh, I regret taking it here because it could have been this, but that regret will always be the lesser of the regret, of losing money. So
100%. Let's dive a little bit into some trades that you took this week and some of your indicators and how you like to use them, and go over some technical analysis.
Okay.
If you want, you can send me some screenshots so that we can talk about that.
Okay. Let's go over. What should I do first? I wrote down a couple, so you want to like fill in the time while I look for the trades?
Yeah. I'm just pulling up.
I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to screen share, but my TD number pops up at the top. I don't know if anyone knows how to get rid of that. If someone knows how to get rid of that,
I could probably cover it on the stream side. But
is it?
I don't want to risk it though. But yeah, if you guys have any questions for Esk, please put them in the chat. There was a couple here. Somebody was asking about your halt strategy earlier, so that'd be very interesting to go over.
Okay, so we can actually just then do CEI and then I'll just go over it. Actually, you know what? I don't know if that's like such a risky trade though that I did. So I don't know that that's, so this is the thing with halts. So I'll just talk about it. I'll share what I did with CEI, but it's also very risky. So with halts, personally, I've obviously always I've been trading halts or been stuck in halts like multiple times in the past year and a half. But specifically, like what I've noticed is like there's certain, it has so much to do with screen time that I don't want to say it's a specific strategy because I don't have like a special platform that's like telling me what the halt codes are or whatever, other than like Verde, who usually is really good at like putting what the halts are indicating. So I don't have anything that's telling me that. So it's almost a little bit reliant on like just the feeling of what's going to happen based off of the fact that you've seen it so many times. So halt ups usually, if I'm not in them, but the volume is there in the previous candles, and then also, I hate to say this, but if it feels like there's hype, like if it feels like you just have this feeling. I can tell now when the next candle opens, if it has a pullback that's going to be a pullback that's going to make it um that's going to if the pullback is a pullback that's going to just kill it, or if the pullback is a pullback that's really just a pullback and people are buying it like it's wicking at the bottom,
Right. Yep.
once like that kind of wick develops at the bottom, and I'm like, okay, it's wicking, I'll get in that candle, and it's usually just a scalp for that first candle.
Okay.
I'm not even really considering staying in for multiple candles. um the other thing with halt is like if it's a halt on news and the news is really great, I'll play that halt because I know that like the news will drive the ticker. That has to be like fantastic news for me to do that. Um, but I know like okay, the news will drive this, so therefore, But that's kind of how it is with up halts. With down halts, if the ticker has really good Momo for the day, really good volume, and it's trading like, it's like, it's trading the whole day. There's multiple opportunities on the upside, and it has a downside move where the halt, like where the pullback is like significant. What I've noticed is shorts will cover right in the first candle or two of the open of the down halt. And so what I'll do is I'll just play the short cover. So I'll just buy and sell. Like it's just in and out. It's not like a committed trade or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Let me.
So chat is giving instructions here on how they think you can hide your account information.
Okay. Tell me.
So I think your name is Steven. Steven says if you open account info, go down to option buying power, click it, then slide the privacy slider over. Account info in top left corner on TOS. So you can give that a try.
Okay, account info. Okay, I got this. And then it says, what did he say? So account info.
Go down to options buying power, click that, and then slide the privacy slider over. I don't have TOS, so I can't confirm if this is a thing or not. Or someone else says if you try logging into a paper trading account.
And my charting is gone. It does it, but it gives like my username. So I'm like,
yeah, that's fine.
I don't want to do it. So thank you, Steven. It got rid of like the first couple of digits, but then it has like my username there. So
okay. Deb says she sent you a DM showing how as well, but we don't have to spend too much time on it.
Okay, let me just take a screenshot of this. And kind of.
And I do want to get to this as well, but congratulations on your first $1 million. Holy crap.
Oh, thank you.
That's insane. Let's go. Can we get a 1 in chat for congratulations on that?
Oh my God.
That's huge.
I know. That was crazy, man.
Oh my God.
That was a crazy experience.
I saw it. I was like, no freaking way, dude. That's literally the name of me. That's my name. I'm so impressed. What did that feel like? Can you go through like how did that feel when you finally hit it?
So it felt crazy.
Was it weird?
Yeah, because I mean at that point I had kind of been like waiting for it to happen for a while. And I knew at some point like, okay, it's gonna happen. But the moment that it actually happened just felt like insane. Like I felt surreal, to be honest, because who would have thought, like who thinks like, I mean, I know you're thinking it, right? Because that's your username.
Yeah.
But like you just don't, again, like I told you, like I started out thinking like I'm gonna make like $10,000, and
right, it's gonna be a nice bonus.
A little chunk of my student loan. Yeah, like it was just like something like I thought like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing, and I was so realistic in that way, but also like I never thought in a million, like I would never think in a million years this was possible.
Of course.
And I was one of those people where I genuinely didn't think like stuff like this is even possible. Like like I used to think like if I saw a story like this, I would think like I'd be happy for the person that accomplished it,
Right.
but I'd also be thinking in my head like um I'd also be thinking in my head like they that person like is special, compared to me or something. Like I
Right.
never thought like,
You'd be that
oh, that
person.
yeah. Um Hold on, I'm sharing the screenshot I just sent you because I think I might have sent you something on the side that might be personal.
No
So let
problem.
me
No problem.
let me redo this. I'm just gonna out myself here, guys, on
Yeah.
like all my personal information, basically.
we're
So
we're
by the
both
time
getting
we're over,
doxxed today. That's actually the stream today.
yeah. Okay, so that's okay, so let's start at this chart that I just sent you. But yeah, no, I used to think like when I would see people that would have that kind of story, I would be happy for them, but I'd also think like, oh, that's not going to be me. Like they must be so smart to be able to do that. I remember the first time I saw a chart, I was so intimidated because it just looked so like foreign, like it was like, what is this? How does this work? And I totally used to think that way, that it, how could that be me? Um, but sure, like I
That's
mean, I
so
guess
cool.
here I am, and
Congratulations.
you know, that's wild.
Huge achievement. Absolutely huge. Um, yeah. So let's move on to this chart here.
Okay, let's go through. This is just one of like four, so let's do this one first, and then
Yep.
I'll give you the other ones.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'll preface this by saying my charts are very ugly, which is why I don't share them that much. Because when I'm trading, like I'm trading like I'm just trading. So I'm not thinking about keeping it pretty. I'm just trading and the charts are moving as I'm trading. If like different patterns form like on a bigger time frame or within the same time frame. So yeah, I'll just preface this. I am not a good chartist. I don't claim to be a good chartist. There are much better chartists out there than me, that do an excellent job teaching charts.
Well, whatever
This
you're
is just
doing is working. So.
yeah, but it's like one of those things. Like, oh yeah, but I just want to preface that because I don't think that my charting. There's people out there whose charting is much better that you can probably like pay attention to, who will have cleaner charts and
I
stuff
hear
that
ya.
will be easier to read than this.
Yeah.
But anyways, um, so okay, so over here, RCAT was running in the morning. So I already had it like as noted, like, okay, this is running. So the first trend line I draw is that trend line from the morning high to that morning, like to like that, resistance point.
Mm-hmm.
I draw a downward trend line. I noticed that it breaks that trend line in pre-market, which typically I don't like to see. Just because I feel like if the trend breaks to the upside in pre-market, I feel like it tends to get a little like it gets shorted at the open or it sells off into the open. And you can kind of see that in the first couple of minutes of the trade. So I wish I could like are you pointing at this while I'm doing it?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm kind of pointing towards it. So.
okay, all right. So you can kind of see that in the beginning of in the first couple of minutes of open, right? So it
Right.
does have that pop at open, but then it pulls back like it has those knives. So I notice here at the 636 candle, it wicks. So it wicks off the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, it wicks off the bottom. And so what I do is I set like a price level there to see if maybe it tests that support again. So I'm treating that as support at that point.
Right.
I'm not waiting like I draw a little line here thinking like maybe something will happen here, but I don't feel comfortable in the trade yet because it just feels too wicky and it feels too like um at the time like it just felt like it had more downward pressure to me. So I'm just waiting at this point. So now I'm waiting, waiting some more and waiting some more.
Mm-hmm.
Then I notice around like 703, the 703, 708 range, like in this consolidation period.
Yep.
I see like, okay, there's wicks forming again. There's also this other wick back at like the 643 candles. I draw like a trend line from the morning from pre-market up, right? So I'm like, okay,
Right.
I'm gonna follow this trend line. So you see a big break over here around 710. So I see this giant break and I'm like, okay, I might be done with this because I don't like trading stuff with big giant ups and downs. I know the upside can be big, but it's almost like a guessing game of like if you're getting in during the up or down, right? So then I'm like only in scalp mode. So now I'm not in like day trade mode. I'm just gonna scalp this at this point if
Right.
I take an entry. So I highlighted my entry and my exit so you can kind of see it. But basically, around 714, you see it kind of bounce off of that low that it had already set and it forms a wick. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, there's buyers there, right?
Right.
I'm like, let me enter into the trade. So I enter on the first green candle, which is around 716. And then I'm pretty much out of the trade at like 720. So my goal was to trade it just to VWAP. I held a little bit longer, but as soon as I saw this red candle pop up, I was like, okay, I'm out.
Right.
I didn't want to risk it going back under VWAP or anything like that. Um, it entirely was possible for it to do the same thing that it did right before, which is like have that giant red candle. So I don't know, because when you're trading, like this is the one thing with charts that in the beginning it was really hard for me to grasp this because I would look at these charts in retrospect. But when you're trading, you actually don't know what's going to happen next. It's all like, you're making your decisions based off of you know patterns repeating themselves and like statistics in your mind of like what has played out in the past, but you actually don't know. So once it tests VWAP again, I can see consolidating. It could push up, it could also push down. um I didn't think the news was particularly good that day.
Okay.
So and then like I said, I was already kind of in like a scalpy mode after seeing all these, wicks.
Right.
So, or the giant like red candles. Um, so yeah, so I'm out of the trade. I still kept charting it the rest of the day. You can kind of see like my ugly my ugly charting.
No, it's great.
You can kind of see it, what it looks like. Um, but yeah, I still kept charting it. I guess you could have taken an entry like at 754, 755, another one. But again, like I said, like I would have taken the break at 752. Um, for a scalp, and if I had done that, I would have immediately been hit with a red candle and probably got shaken out because again, I was in a scalping mode. So yeah, I wouldn't have done it. You could have taken the entry based off like it hitting that lower trend line again.
Right.
um I just didn't though, because I was kind of done with the trades on this. So
Yeah, you followed your plan, executed perfectly, and you're out, and just kind of watching
yeah.
the rest just to see what happens and study for next time this stock gets news like that. So I think that's great.
Okay, let's go through. I'll do Gree because I think that was well, Gree was also like a scalp, but
We got a question. How long do you look at different time frames? Or how often do you look at different time frames?
great question. So I trade off a 1 minute chart,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have a 5 minute chart up next to me, and then I'll look at the daily if it's something that's like halting up or that I'm playing that I'm thinking there's going to be a larger move on. I'll look at the daily, especially if it's like a higher price stock. Over 5 because I'm trying to see what the different levels are of like where the resistances are. But mostly just like a 1, a 5, the daily, and I do have a 3 minute up also that I'll take a
Gotcha.
look at just for like confirmation sometimes of my entries.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know, to be honest, I think I started using a 3 minute chart back in February. Um and it's been helpful, but I don't know the reasoning behind it. Why? I started,
I
someone
like
had
it.
said it was a good idea. I started using it and it worked out, so I just stuck with it. Um,
I hear
I haven't
you.
losing that much.
All right. Do you have another example for us?
Oh, okay, yeah. So, let's see.
Thank you for the question, Conductor Time. I appreciate it.
Feel free to ask questions while
Yeah,
I look.
Chad, if you have any questions,
I
for
was really hoping that someone would be able to figure it out.
figure what out? Sorry.
Figure out the things I could actually just show you.
Oh,
but
did you try the paper trading option? Is that a
I
potential?
could,
Because I might pull up a fake paper trading number, maybe. I'm not sure.
I think it still just shows my username. That's the
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
I don't know why
gotcha.
it does that because I've seen people's accounts that don't show the
Hmm.
username. Let's see.
We have a question from Roycer46. What was your biggest loss that you had to cut?
My biggest loss, DTSS, I was down like $20,000. It was the worst trade
Wow.
I've ever had.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I really didn't like I was in the trade. I think it had like good news in the morning. I don't know what time. This was like a couple months back. Um in Oh, yeah, that was the day that this was a crazy day. So I remember being down like $21,000 on it at one point or something like that. I scalped back to where I was like maybe down 18,000 on it. That's the biggest one that I've had to cut. And that, for me, there was a lot of lessons there. One, my sizing was, I think, too big, obviously, because otherwise I wouldn't have had that big of a loss.
Right.
I was fighting the trend a little bit. The trend was definitely like down. I was, for whatever reason, still continuing to play it. Where I scalped and made money back was obviously the better entries from where I started off. So it was just a bad trade overall. And that was like the biggest since post like epiphany of not losing money. I still regret it. Like
Yeah, that's tough for sure.
no, that day was hard. It was an interesting day though, because that day for whatever reason, because once I lost money like that, I had never been down that much before. So on a single trade. So overall, I'd been like I've had a couple of plus 10, like 10 days that were under 15 but over 10. So a couple of those, like maybe like 3 or 4 in the past like year and a half where that day was just a really bad day for me. So I've had a couple of those before, but never enough to where never a single trade. So that was my only, and I think that was my only ever single trade big loss ever.
Wow.
Yeah, it never happened again like that. The day was crazy though, because for whatever reason, I was just defeated. That happened like maybe an hour into open. So I thought like there is no way I'm making this back. Even though I had the whole day, I know that like most of my money that I make is from like open until 8:30. So which is 6 a.m. to 6:30 to 8:30. So the first 2 hours of trading is where I make most of my money. So I figured it's over for me, like, because at that point I hadn't had a 20K day. So there was I hadn't had a 20K day in a while.
Right.
Those days I was averaging like in the 5s, 3s, 2s. So I was like, there's no way that today's gonna be the day I'm gonna all of a sudden make like 20. But I did. It ended up just happening. Like it, for whatever reason, universe, God, whatever,
Right.
whatever you want to call it, like being really nice to me. The trading gods, I guess.
Zach Morris, thank you.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
I would've. But no. But I think like oil had a run that day or something,
Right.
and I made it all back on like USEG, which is one of my favorite oil tickers, by the way. That's like my favorite one. Even before this, I just love trading it. I think I'm good at trading it. I understand the price action on it well.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I just ended up making a ton of money there, and it fixed it. I don't know that I learned the lesson I needed to learn that day, because I went and had a bigger loss like a couple of days later.
Right.
And then I really learned like the lesson I think I needed to learn from overall, which was just that the market was it was slowing down. This was towards the end of July, and had started slowing down a little bit, and I was just still using heavier size. So that was the lesson.
All right, we do have a few questions here that I'd love to get through. They're coming in. I'll do the highlighted one first here from Black Square. Thank you for the question. What paid tools do you use? What tools or new service is a quote-unquote must-have for beginners?
Zero, none.
Perfect.
I don't think I have nothing against any paid service. Are we talking like subscriptions? Or are we talking? Okay, new
like,
services.
I think like trade
Okay.
ideas, stuff like that, and then maybe you include paid services as well.
Okay, so I'll go through like the different types.
Yeah.
So for paid services, in terms of like paying people to help you learn how to trade, there's tons of people out there that I think do a great job of like teaching you how to trade, that are good traders. I can't test to their services because I've never done them, but they seem like genuine people that really want to help. And that's just like, they're running a business, like whatever, that's fine. I have never done those, but I know that the people that I know that not all the people that are doing them are like out there to like scam you. There's really good people that are doing paid services.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't used them. For trade ideas, I've been a bit of a freeloader, so I've been using just the voice one in Atlas, and then when that was down and Bob was streaming, or Rocket Catch and Bob was streaming every day, I'd hop on his stream and I'd listen into what his pepper was saying.
Right.
So that's kind of, I've just been using the voice for that.
Hey, that's what
I
do
don't
too.
think that I was talking to I was telling you earlier that I couldn't I'm afraid that like my computer is going to die at like any moment.
Right.
So I can't run trade ideas right now. I also have an iMac, so I think you need a PC to run it properly.
Okay.
So I don't have trade ideas up on my computer at all. And then for new services, I did do a subscription to Scans once, like one of the free subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't think I'm fast, but I'm not that fast to where I would be able to even get to the news that quickly. So I don't know. I haven't used it. All my resources for news are free. So I use like Delta One, which is Walter Bloomberg. I use everyone basically on Discord that will post news. So that's yeah, I just use everyone on Discord that posts news, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yes, like for me, I just use Webull. I made my own scanners on there, and I like to use those.
Yeah. But my scans I'm very simple in this way, and this is and this could be something that like for me is one of those things that probably will change, or actually I'm pretty sure I for sure know it'll change in the next like maybe year, where I'll start adding those services, even subscriptions to people's rooms and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I know at some point you need to like, that might be the level up. But I think as like someone who started off new, like, no, I didn't use anything.
Gotcha. We have another question coming in from Bramley98. He's asking, any tips for sizing up?
The biggest tip that I could give for sizing up is do it when the market tells you to do it. So I didn't size up until the market really was there to size up, because I feel like I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to obviously to losing money. I'm a little scared of it. I know that there's the whole thing about, you know, not being emotional about your trades and all of that. Like I understand that, but it's still scary to lose money. At least to me, it is still. So I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat, so I size according to like the vibes, really.
Gotcha.
So if the market is like hot and everyone's making money and everything's going up, I'm
Going a bit
okay to
heavier.
size heavy.
Right.
If the market is like not that way or SPY is down, because I think normally SPY and small cap don't go hand in hand, but I think they've been going hand in hand um for a little while, where like sentiment or like, morale is low, right? I'm not going to size on a day like that because I know that like there's not going to be as much volume as I want there to be for me to be able to get out without like causing candles to change?
Yeah, yeah. Says when the iron is hot, hit it. I got you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. So I sized, my heaviest sizing was back in January and February, and then recently like with CEI I've used heavy size, but other
Gotcha.
than that, like no.
Uh,
That's my advice for sizing.
no, that's great. We
Not
got
financial advice.
one more question. Yeah, yeah. No, there's no advice in this stream. Okay, we're just having a conversation.
I just use the word advice, not really though.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
financial.
Got a couple more questions coming in, and then we'll move to your chart, and then I think we'll start to wrap things up.
Okay.
So Time Conductor has a question here. So what's a good example of size a pro trader would take in a good volume day on a 100 million market cap?
Okay.
That is specific.
That's very specific. Considering like okay, can I answer this in two parts?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. So one is this. I think that like some people not you, the person that asked the question, what was his name?
This is Time Conductor.
Time Conductor, not you, Time Conductor. I know you don't do this, but sometimes I think there's this tendency to overcomplicate things. So I know that you need like a larger, you can't do it on a small cap, like on a low, super low float, use a lot of size. But I'm not, to be honest, I don't know what the market cap on half these things are. I just know whether they're a low float or there's something that has like a lot of shares outstanding to trade, like if it's something that requires a lot of moving. So yeah, I don't know. I just do it based off what the volume is for the day. So if the volume tells me I can use more size, I'll use more size. And if the volume's low, I just won't use more size.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I've traded with like 100,000 shares before.
Mm-hmm.
I've also traded with just 1,000 shares before. Like the trade I'm about to show you guys right now, I traded with 1,000 share size, and then I've traded with like 100,000
Wow.
share size. If the volume is really there and you can actually move, like why not? More recently, like when I was trading CEI on Wednesday, I was using like 50 to 75,000 at a time. So yeah.
Awesome. And we got another question from Deb. What's going on, Deb? How you doing today?
Hi, Deb.
We all know Deb in here. Everyone say hello, Deb, in chat. Do you have times now where you lose your confidence? If so, how do you get your head back in the game?
Yes. So, that day that I was telling you that I lost 20,000, the day,
Yep.
like a couple of days after that, so that day I had made it back. There was this day after that where I lost like 16. And so I know like I'm not a dude, right? So I don't know what you guys do when you guys lose money.
What?
Probably, like, what do you do when you lose money?
Uh,
Like a significant amount.
I usually just walk away. I don't really have like a thing that I do. I don't know.
But are you pissed at all?
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
So do you like cuss out? Like, are you like cussing and like are you pissed a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. I'd say so. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe hit the
that's
gym or
normal.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, that's normal. So yeah, so I cried. So
Oh.
I remember like getting up from my desk because it was a very mentally tough week. I was down 20K. I made it back. I thought like, oh, you're such a good trader. You can make back that much money. Wow, you're a dumbass. How could you have been down that much money? Moved over to like a day and a half later. I'm like down the same amount of money again. And I'm like, wow, you're a dumbass. Like, why did you do that again? You made the same mistake twice. So that kind of, I think, shakes your confidence a little when you're making the same mistake twice and then you question your whether you're a good trader or whether you just got lucky. I think I still do that all the time. I'm like, am I a good trader or did I just get lucky? Am I a good trader or am I just
Right.
getting lucky? That kind of sometimes it just happens. So yeah, so there's been times where my confidence has been like shaken. Um not really like I, I I would say it was less it happened a lot less frequently, almost not really at all in the beginning because in the beginning I knew I didn't know anything. So when you don't know anything, it's kind of almost easier to it's kind of like you can be easy on yourself because you don't know anything and you're like, "Oh, I don't know anything." So it's okay if I take an L because that's what is supposed to happen when you don't know anything. You can take a little bit of an L with and give yourself and cut yourself some slack because you don't know anything. But once I started knowing how to trade and I take L's, like sometimes, yeah, my confidence gets a little like, you know, but I just, the only thing I do differently is like, I guess I just come back the next day because I know that it's not permanent, like
Hmm.
if I've done it before, I can do it again kind of a thing. And then I just come back the next day and I just do it again.
Right. Right.
Usually that helps. I'm usually very strict the day after coming back from an L. Like I took a loss on Friday and or yesterday, and so like Monday I will be very strict with my rules because I'm just gonna get the confidence back, and then Tuesday I'll probably pick up again and stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, that's great. We got one more question from Alpha Jeep, and then we're gonna walk through your trade and move towards the end of the interview. How do you cut a bad trade? Do you have a percentage that you cut for your loss?
No, I don't have a specific percentage. I just cut based off the chart. So
Gotcha.
usually I'll cut based off of like a break of a level. So if there's like consolidation prior to where I entered and that consolidation breaks, or there's like a low that I have charted out or like a trend line that I have charted out and that breaks, then I will cut the trade.
Gotcha.
So I'm not the best at math, so I'm not sitting here doing any percentage calculations or anything. I don't even know the percentage that I'm making on trades most of the time because I'm trading on my screen. The percentages are on my phone, so I'm just like trading and moving along.
Yeah, traded the chart, right? Not your
Yeah,
P&L sort of thing.
yeah, yeah. I'm not trading the I'm trading the chart.
So I have Gree pulled up. Walk us through it. What was your mindset here? How did you play this one?
Okay, so kind of similar to RCAT in the sense that it had good news in the morning. That obviously moved it from like what 27 all the way to 31. So it had like a nice $3 move in the morning. And so I was like, okay, it's in play. I knew that this is one that likes to run based off like previous history that it's had. And so I was like, okay, it's in play. So because it's $30, I'm already going in with a little bit of like, okay, I'm not gonna like use any significant size on this. And I'm probably just gonna scalp it. So what I did, which is, this is just how it worked out for me. But I waited for the market to open. Um, I had already had that trend line that was set from pre-market, so it was from the high from pre-market to that resistance. So it was a downward trend. I by the way, I loved trading like breaks of downward trend lines. So I knew that like if it was pushing in the morning, that I would just take the entry there. So I took an entry. I think it was my entry was in the 29s. So it was either right at the break or the volume felt like it was going to break. I didn't wait for a retest because I knew that it was probably just going to be like a quick pop, which it was. I expected it to continue a little bit more. I thought it would get to like 33 for whatever reason. But it started pulling in the second candle, so I had exited the trade at this point.
Okay.
So I just traded literally one. I was in on the 6:30 candle and out on the 6:31 candle.
Wow.
Actually, let me I think I screenshotted the entries for this for this. I could share them. Yeah, so I filled at 6:30 for 1,000 shares at 29.98. So right after the break, like it had just broke and I entered. Um, and then my risk basically was the pre-market the pre-market like pullback area, so that 29 level, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
figured if it went to 29, I would cut the trade. But it didn't. So it just stuck around that 50 SMA line. And
Right.
then so I just kept the trade and then I just sold 200 shares at a time into the second candle. I was all out by 6:31.
Gotcha. The super fast boo. So you're using hotkeys for that for sure, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
awesome.
always using hotkeys.
Yeah, they're the way to go. Question coming in from I'm not sure how to say your name. I'm gonna call you Sat. How do you pick up these tickers, and how many tickers do you keep monitoring for a day? So the second half of that question I'm more interested in. How many tickers are you monitoring at one time and throughout the day?
So so usually pre-market will tell me like which ones are going to be the main ones that everyone's going to be watching for that day. I just go based off that. So I'm usually not trading things that like aren't in play by they're not in play because of pre-market. So usually pre-market they'll run and then I'll know like, okay, this is something I'm trading. I narrow that down by just the quality of the news. Like if it's news that I don't think is going to make it go, I'm just going to take it off. And it's usually about like maybe two to four that I'm kind of looking at throughout the day. And then I always have like Tesla up in the corner. Just because whenever like something like good pattern forms on Tesla, there's always an opportunity to like take a trade there. So I have Tesla always up in the corner, and then like probably two to four is what I'm watching for the day. And then that's just in the morning when I'm going in. Once the day starts, I mean, if it becomes some type of sympathy day, which we haven't had in a really long time, then I'll obviously like I have the sympathies kind of almost memorized in my head, so I kind of know like, okay, I need to watch this, this, and this,
Mm-hmm.
or uh, if something else pops up during the day, like something gets news. Usually, something is going to get news for it to start going in the middle of the day randomly,
Right.
Unless like someone calls a swing and it's someone big and then it starts moving. That's different.
Gotcha. And do you play options at all?
I do, but very limited. So
Okay.
I played options a little bit more last year. Now I mostly use them to play if I can't short or if I feel like there's going to be a bigger move in the option chain, right? So if something has like the craziest news, like I don't know, like for example, if news came out that Moderna's vaccine was um gonna lose FDA, like not gonna get FDA approval, I would go play the options because the downside would be huge on that, Um if it's so yeah, it's mostly based off news too.
Right.
So yeah, so my options are limited in that way. Like it's mostly puts or calls based off of news.
Got you. Okay. And what are your favorite patterns to play or your favorite setups?
So I like playing down like trend lines that are coming down. So downward trend line breaks, I guess you would call it.
Right.
Okay, let me pull up, let me give you a screenshot of the CEI chart because I think that's a good one to show from Wednesday, like all the opportunity that everyone could have had on it, even if you didn't get in and regret that decision for the rest of your life. But yeah, that's me, by the way. If you didn't hear it in my tone. I'm like, why didn't I not full port this thing at 55 cents?
Do you want to talk about it? No, just kidding.
Yeah, I don't think you need to go to therapy for that.
Yeah.
I could have 4x my account by now. So no, I mean it happens, right?
Oh,
Like
of course.
there's always that retrospect, like, trade or whatever where you're like, you regret it. So um so I know some people feel very like they feel a certain type of way about taking a trade that's already had such a significant move. Um and hopefully this will help you see how sometimes even though something has had a significant move, it's still going to be in play sometimes. So okay. Sorry, I'm being so slow with this because I'm like double
No,
checking
no.
that I'm not
Yeah, you're
I'm
good. You're
not
good.
like sending all my account info and stuff. Um
My CEI chart has so many lines.
yeah, so this is what my it's again, like if you're new to this stream, if you joined late, you just should know that my charting is like horrible. So, in terms of like aesthetically, it's not as pleasing as other people's can be. Um, okay, so is it up?
Yep, I got it.
All right, okay. So, CEI this day specifically had huge volume, I want to say, right? It had like, was this the date that yeah. It traded like 1 billion shares or something? Was that
It
this?
it was
Was that CEI?
huge. I think
It was
so.
it was just a huge volume day for it,
Yeah, it was
right?
nuts.
It was crazy. So,
1.2 billion Trader Thiz says.
yes. So it was a huge volume day. There was a beautiful line, like an uptrend line,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of just stuck throughout the day. So you can kind of see it right there. And there was multiple like trend line breaks, like multiple. You can
Yep.
see them. Like they're
Bam.
super easy to
Bam.
read,
Bam.
super easy to see.
Beautiful trade.
Yeah, there was multiple opportunities. You could have entered. I know it's a little scary, like at the open, because you see I hope my candles were like clear enough for you to see this. You can see like there's lots of downward pressure.
Mm-hmm.
When the chart is brand new, right? Because this is in retrospect, right? So in retrospect, it looks like it's a full on up day, but when it's live, it doesn't exactly look like that. So you could have been like, oh man, it's pulling down or whatever. But it kind of just held this one of the support lines that it had on, I think, the 30-minute chart
Okay.
that it had. So it kind of just held that support. So basically, you could have entered at any point. You could have entered at 7:35. You could have entered if you wanted to play the break of a resistance. You could have entered at 8:16. This is how I like to take entries. I know that a lot of people are fans of the dips on the patterns, or on the bottom, the lower trend line. So that's also where you could have taken entries. So you could have taken them at 7:31, at 8:06. It just provided so much opportunity on the way from like $3 all the way to 4.85. So yeah, this was a good example of just being able to enter a trade like later in the day when,
Yeah, absolutely.
I played the down halts on this.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah.
How did that go?
So this is like, I only did this because I've been sitting in front of my screen for like a year and a half without any, like every single day from morning until like from open until close. And I've seen how certain down halts play out, and I've seen stuff like this happen. I would never tell someone who's like brand new to trade something like this, or even who hasn't had like multiple experiences trading. What did this say? Ask, will you talk to my wife? Thanks. Yes. I will. So I wouldn't recommend this to anyone that hasn't been around it long enough, like at all. So what I did was that first down halt at 11:35 I played. So this is I'll go through my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So a while back, SPRT, this was before it switched to GREE, was trading one day, and it had a really good day trading, and then it halted down like crazy. So it had a big halt down, and basically there was a short covering right when it opened. So I'm thinking, and after that happened, I started paying attention to down halts more and what happens when something down halts, and then how shorts cover or whatever, or how the stock reacts. So it's a combination of things. So for this, like, not only is it down halting, but like I think there was like at this point it was kind of like, because there was like a fake offering out, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
Someone put a
it
fake
was like
offering.
forged or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I didn't know about that on the first halt. I was just gonna play basically the bounce on it. So what I did is on the 11:35 candle, it opened, and I just, my hotkeys and my fingers went cray. Like I just was
You're
like,
playing piano over
look,
there.
yeah, I was buying. I was just buying, because I knew there was gonna be a bounce off
Right.
at least the first one. So um yeah, so I'm seeing the wick, I'm seeing it pull back, I see it start forming a wick, and I'm not even like thinking about it. I'm just buying.
Okay.
And then I sold all of those shares in this next candle, or the candle after. I think I took a screenshot of this also to kind of give you an idea of how quick the trades were. No, I didn't. Sorry.
That's okay.
No, I should have. Um, okay, anyways. But yeah, that was the first halt. So I was surprised after the first halt, because I think at this point it was clear that that um that the offering was fake, or there wasn't like, yeah, I think it was clear that there was a fake offering. It kind of consolidated there for like a second, like between 11:35 and 11:39. It kind of consolidated. I might have kept like 4,000 shares at that point to see if it would just move back up right away. But I also know that when something like this happens, everyone that's in the stock is super scared,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So um a lot of the stuff that you see on the chart, like even the indicators, or the candles themselves, or like the MACD, or the volume bars that you see, it's not really a function of like those things telling me what I need to do. It's more so those things tell me what everyone else is seeing, so then I can gauge what everyone else is seeing and then play off of that. Um, So I know that people are really scared right now, especially if you bought in the fours and you're seeing down halts, and your stock, or even if you bought like in the 50s or whatever, and now you've seen like, you know, almost a full dollar move, right? Or actually a full dollar move off your shares, right? So if you had 10,000 shares, you just lost $10,000. Like, you're down $10,000. So I know people are a little scared.
Right.
So I'm not really trying to stay in this. So I cut everything when the consolidation broke. Um, and then there was another down halt.
Right.
The second down halt, um, I did the same thing because I figured it's gonna have the same type of covering. I underestimated how far it would pull back, because my share, like my entry was off that first candle. But then the second candle pulled back too. So I added more on the pullback, because again, it was like that huge wick, but there was like a freaking 22, was it 22 million was the candle? It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was the craziest.
Yeah. 22.5 million I'm seeing.
Yeah, it was insane. It was like this insane surge that came through. So then I just kept this, then it uphalted, and then I sold pretty much all my shares out after the uphalt.
Right.
So
Okay.
that was it. Then I was done. Then I saw it pull back again. It had really good consolidation right here in the 290s, because I kept seeing all these wicks. So it made me feel like there was buyers there that kept buying it up, right? Like the 290s 3 area,
Mm-hmm.
like it kept getting bought up, it kept getting bought up, it kept getting bought up. Every single stick, every single candlestick almost has a wick right there. Um, so I drew like a kind of a trend line, but it wasn't like the best one to draw. Like, I didn't feel too confident. I didn't know how I felt like if I was in something that was 485 and then all of a sudden was 285, almost like a full $2 drop, I would be like scared and I wouldn't want to touch it anymore. So
Right.
then I didn't play it, but everyone else did and they got rich. So doing so.
And I'm not salty.
Anyone, huh?
I'm not salty
I
about
mean,
it.
if I'm salty about any move, it's the first one.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah. Oh yeah,
I
for
played that.
sure.
I played that thing in the 50s, thinking like, oh, 75. Okay,
Yeah.
hey, I'm done. Like I
Later.
thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, freaking goes to $4.85.
I
What the
know. Are you
hell?
kidding me?
Yeah, I was so mad, but
I
it's
hear you.
okay. There'll be another opportunity.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Time.
Marcus not going anywhere. Just don't blow up your
No, not
account.
going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Don't blow up your account waiting for it to actually heat up.
Right. That's great. So if there's nothing else you want to cover there, we'll take. If Chad has any more questions, we can cover a couple more. If not, this is Esk Trading on Twitter. Hit her with the follow. I want to thank you guys for coming out today. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, EastQ, for Esk Trading for coming on the stream today. I really appreciate it. It means a
Thank
lot.
you so much for having me. I was
Absolutely.
very nervous, so
You know what? I always get nervous
I
for
hope I
these
did an
things.
okay job.
Yeah,
Huh?
even on my end,
Yeah,
I get nervous for these things too, but it always ends
yeah.
up, it always have fun.
I hope I
So
did a good job, and I hope you guys liked or found some benefit in anything I said.
absolutely. Trade with Iz says thanks. Ask you did great, homie. Grambler loved it. Lots of love in chat there. So everyone say thank you, Esk in the chat. That'd be
Thank you
awesome.
guys so much. Thank you for being so nice to me.
Yeah, for sure. We'll let's end on one more question.
Okay, sure.
Since I always ask this question wrong because it turns into like an advice thing, issue. So, if someone, let's say it's you, were having red days consistently over and over and over again, red weeks, maybe you've blown up your account a couple times and you're reloading it and reloading it and reloading it. What would you do to get out of that slump and to kind of get your head back in the game?
Sure. So I didn't have like a slump where I was having to reload my account, but there was this period in my trading. There was actually two. One was smaller and one was larger. So if you want to pull up like my chart, the one that where I actually hit the million, like the graph.
Oh, yes, I'll try to find
You
that.
can kind of see it better on there.
Okay.
So
I'll scroll here for a
in
sec.
September last year, that was the first time that happened to me where I kind of like I was a little bit like up and down every single day. Um, and and so at that time, because I was new, I was a little less like how do you want to say it? You can kind of see it, right? In September, it was a little flat.
Mm-hmm.
I was new, so I wasn't really attributing it to me being a bad trader. I thought like, oh, the market just sucks,
Right.
And I kind of just didn't really do much to change, kind of just waited for October to come by. I was also really sick that month, so I couldn't trade every single day. That's the only month that I haven't traded. I think every other month I've traded every single day except if I had to take a day off. That month there was multiple days where I just couldn't get out of bed. So
Right.
I just didn't trade. That April-May period that you see. So during that time, I had a hard time adjusting to the market leading out of like January, February, March, right? Because January, February, March, you see it's just so up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was using a lot of size, and everything was like moving. And then in April, those knife candles started appearing, and so I started just getting caught in them, and I would just get caught like every day I felt like I was in an abusive relationship with these red candles. I would like, I was like that girl that kept going back to her, boyfriend that was
Oh
not nice
my
to her.
God.
Like he would, yeah, like every single day, essentially, right? Like
Right.
it just,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't mean to offend anyone by
No.
making
No.
that
Of
joke,
course. Of course.
um, but yeah, it was just so bad. I literally would go and then I would get like caught in a red candle, go again, get caught in a red candle, go again, get caught in a red candle over and over and over again. Um, and one day I would learn my lesson, the next day I wouldn't. It's honestly, it's all a function of managing your risk when you find yourself in positions like that. So if you know that you're on like a downtrend, or you are, it comes down to self-awareness, right? If you are self-aware, you'll notice you have to be really honest with yourself, brutally honest with yourself, and tell yourself like you are am I allowed to curse?
Yeah.
Ever
Yeah. Go
cuss?
for it. Oh yeah. For sure.
Yeah, you have to be like, okay, you're fucking up. Like there's something you're doing that's not right now. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't fix that, then you can't go out and play like you fixed it. So for me, it was a function of being like, okay, I'm going up and down, up and down. I don't deserve to use size right now. I don't deserve to like trade the fun halts or like the quick scalps, right? Because I'm not in I'm not trading that way right now. I'm not I can't take those risks because I'm just on a downtrend. So I think when you're in a downtrend, being able to identify that you're in a downtrend from the start, like identify it quick. Like, and for me, that doesn't even mean that I have to lose money 2 days in a row. I took an L on Friday. On Monday, I'm going to be super strict with myself just so I can like get the green coming back again, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think that that's kind of how, like, I don't know if that fully answers the question, but that's personally what I do. Where if I find myself like having a couple of red days, I'm so strict with myself about not doing the things that I did on those red days. And that just comes down to being really honest with yourself about what you're doing, not blaming other people. Like, you know, don't talk about pumpers and like market makers and
Yeah.
shorts and
No
this and
excuses.
that. Like those are all excuses, distractions from like, taking control of your own, like whether the market has pumpers or dumpers. And I cringe when I hear those words. I
I
don't like
know.
them. I feel
Yeah.
like it just takes so much accountability off from yourself and puts it on somebody else. But whether that even exists, like if other people are able to make money in that kind of market, then you know that it's possible for you, so that's my kind of thing about that.
That's great.
And
I think
just being really honest with yourself when you are in that downtrend.
absolutely.
Really telling your really like taking control of your mistakes.
Yeah. I think that answers that perfectly. Yeah. Huge shout out to Esk Trading. Please follow her on Twitter if you're not. Once again, I just want to say huge thanks for coming on. Congratulations on that $1
Thank you
million.
so much. Thank you.
Damn.
Thank you for having me.
Such success, and it's awesome to get you on and to hear from you. And I think this was very successful. And once again, this will be available to rewatch on my Twitch channel under videos, and we'll also upload this video to YouTube as well. I will tweet out those links, so if you're not following me, hit the follow, but I'm sure S Trading will retweet it as well.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
So thank you for coming on. I truly appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Okay, later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, traders. That was Esk Trading. How was that? Pretty cool or what? Was that good? Everyone clap for Esk Trading in the chat. So if you're not following her, this is her up on the screen. That was dope. Great work. Girl power. Absolutely. We love to see it. Thank you guys so much for coming out today on your Saturday. Dang. Okay. I see you. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I just want to quickly, while I have you guys, I'll be doing a little bit of a party stream later tonight if you guys want to join that. Okay. Thank you, Release God. If you guys want to join that, it's going to be at 8 p.m. EST tonight. And then tomorrow, we have KD Trading. He's in the chat, and we're going to get him on. No! All right, do I got to turn off these sound bits or what? All right, guys, I love and appreciate every single one of you.
Okay.
Thank you guys for coming out today, and I will see you in the next one. 100 out. You guys are crazy. 100 out.
Okay, okay.
Ooh, can you feel me?
Okay, okay.
Ooh, can you feel me?
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
What's up, traders? You guys still here? What the heck? Welcome to 100 After Dark. Gonna tell you one more time. 6 months. Oh, yo, Dev with the 6 months. Let's go. You are legendary. Thank you guys for joining us today. White Goodman, what are you doing? Well, you had a busy morning or what, huh? No excuses. Banned, says Colonel. Thank you, Deb, for the sub. Thank you for the support. I truly appreciate that. That means a lot. You can check out your stack of money now, Deb. See the wads of cash that you have beside your little gift box there and your sword? Pretty cool. Eventually, it's going to be a briefcase. And then you're going to be loaded. Heck yeah. I was late. Will this be uploaded somewhere? Yes, sir. As soon as I click the end stream button, this will be available on Twitch on my channel under videos. And you can rewatch it there. On Twitch, you'll actually get to see the chat the whole time. I forget if I had it up the whole time. I probably did. And then on... this will also be coming out on YouTube. Thank you, Colonel, for covering that. Can't wait to be loaded. Yes, ma'am. You know, Deb, you know. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for coming out today. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for all the support. We are having... I'm going to be having a partnership party tonight. If you guys want to join, you can. You don't have to. I think I'm going to be doing face cam for the first time on stream, which should be fun. We're going to hang out, jam to some music, probably the midnight. And Fake Pear Bear is going to interview me as if it was my own show. So I think that's funny, and it's going to be fun. So if you guys want to come out to that, please feel free. And then tomorrow we have KD Trading coming on live. And it's tonight at 8 p.m. EST. And then tomorrow, KD Trading is coming on. He is a big crypto trader. And so we'll be talking a lot about that, a lot about stocks, and more. He kills it in the market. That'll be tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, chat, I love you. And I'll see you tomorrow. 100. Say it. Say it, chat. Come on. In. Party stream tonight. Yeah, party stream tonight, 8 p.m. EST. KD Trading tomorrow, 1 p.m. EST. Be there or be square. 100 out!